Hi, everybody, and
Okay.
welcome to Why Did Ask For Chapter 7. Today we have
Are we doing this in chapters?
Pat,
Yeah.
I am here.
Jesse,
Hello.
We're still in Act 1, Fuzz.
Amber,
Hello.
and Schwab.
Hello!
This is going to be quite the adventure because my computer is on the brink of dying, so I may or may not make the entire
trust us.
podcast.
Guys.
Don't know yet.
Guys.
What's up?
It's the staff cast.
It is a staff cast.
Staff
What is that
cast.
What a very interesting week it's been for the Why Did Ask For staff.
God,
A staff
we grew
cast
up.
is much like a staph infection in that it has to be
No.
treated with antibiotics.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I
But
prefer
we don't
the
have
ointment.
antibiotics.
We also swallowed
Yeah, we
back
have
in
ointment.
throat.
Nope. Hey,
That's-
Jesse, can you rub the ointment on me, please? I can't
No.
reach it myself.
I
Why do you
absolutely
always gotta take
will
it
rub
there?
the ointment on you.
Guys, please, we're recording a podcast, not
Look,
ASMR.
this is what
Jesus.
coworkers are for. Coworkers are there to help you rub your ointment.
I mean, at the end of the day, all you really need is a good friend who's willing to rub a topical cream somewhere on an afflicted part of your epidermis.
I am going to report this to HR.
And it doesn't always have to be topical cream. It's several.
Do you have a friend
Natural
who will
cream.
actually do that? Like, do you know a friend that if that were to happen, they would rub ointment on it?
I
Yes.
I don't think I know a friend.
I have a friend who would rub ointment on a plagued part of my body.
I think I do.
Like if I
You
had
do?
leprosy and
I
I was
think I
like, guys, I really need you to put this leprosy cream on my leprosy. No, I don't have anyone. I would just be in a cave like it's 2,000 years ago.
Would you
Isn't
use
it
your dog?
amazing how far we've come in medicine now that we have leprosy cream?
I know.
Is there
Listen,
such a thing as
That's not
leprosy
really a
cream?
thing, though, right?
No.
Leprosy?
No.
There's
Oh,
no
leprosy.
No,
cream.
there's no such thing as
Leprosy
leprosy.
cream.
I didn't
I'm not
think
even-
so.
leprosy.
I'm not even sure what
Urban myth.
leprosy is biologically.
It's
It's
when
like
you
a
start turning
bacteria.
into a leopard. You get these spots on your body and you start running really fast and
Oh,
you enjoy
fuck.
two
You
and
start-
done.
Running along
Animals are
cars.
great.
Absolutely.
I want
Yeah,
to be
running
my God.
beside cars.
That's the Flash origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Leopardcy.
It's
You just
actually
can't
so
find
leopard.
the spots.
Man, we're off to a great start here.
Yeah. We're, yeah.
Imagine
I
Batting
would
a
love to
thousand on
see a
this one.
Flash ride a leopard. Imagine that.
Flash riding a leopard.
Fucking
Oh my god!
fastest human on the fastest animal alive.
Speaking of superhero themed shit, have you guys seen the trailer for the next season of Gotham and or watched Gotham at all?
Yes, and I'm
No,
so
because
glad
I
that you
heard
brought it up.
Gotham was a piece of shit.
I'm
Really?
so
I
glad that
heard.
you brought it up, Jesse.
I heard
I-
it was a piece of shit.
I
It is.
haven't watched it at all because I assumed it would be a piece of shit, and then I watched this trailer, and it's heavily based around. I assume it's the Joker. I mean, he's laughing like it's the fucking Joker, and he has red hair, and he's doing this like horrible Ledger-esque, like bad copying of Heath Ledger's Joker in an unflattering way, and he's like a teenager, and I don't understand because the character, from what I've always understood, is just supposed to appear out of nowhere. So like, the whole universe of the show confuses me, and I haven't even watched an episode of it.
It's really
Well, he doesn't appear out
It's
of
so bad.
nowhere. At one point, Joker was
no, but
a
he
psychiatrist
in
or
the
something.
comics.
It really truly depends on
There's
which version
different,
you
different
do.
interpretations.
Or was it? No,
Like,
Harley Quinn was
You're,
the
you're talking about
psychiatrist.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he
Joker was the
definitely
Red
never,
Hood, right?
He never started off as a teenager. Yeah, he started off as the Red Hood.
He never started off as a teenager. Just one day he was 20 years old and it popped into existence.
He was
Yeah,
birthed
he
Oh,
was
in the
God.
born. He was
That reminds me of
born
my high
20
school
years
shop
old.
teacher.
He's like a replicant from Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah.
just born at like 22 and super hot.
So, Jesse, are you saying that the best way for them to defeat the Joker is to play 20 questions with him?
Yes, they need to ask him about turtles.
It's true.
Can I please explain Gotham, please? Because I've
Please.
seen every single episode.
Please,
Okay.
please do.
Okay.
Gotham is easily the worst show on television right now, but I can't stop watching it. I don't know why. I
Like a
feel
car
compelled
crash.
to. Exactly. Like, I told myself last season when the season finale came, I was like,
You're
that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then I saw the trailer before the new episode for season 2 came out, and I was like, man, this looks awful. And then I found out that season 2, like the first episode came out, and I watched it. I don't know why. But Gotham is terrible, but I cannot stop watching the awfulness of it. I found a drinking game for Gotham Season 2, and Pat, I'll send this to you for like the link dump. But just looking through it, based on one episode, I legitimately, if I had actually had alcohol while I was watching, I would have died based on the first episode.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's
I can
Let's
do that
see.
live if you want. Is it an hour show?
Don't do
I do have alcohol.
So you take a sip when there's not a lot. There's a not at all subtle allusion to a character's eventual destiny.
Oh my
Hey,
god, can I? Sorry,
Please.
that one's like the worst one. Gotham likes to make it a quote unquote mystery when they announce a character from canon. And when I say mystery, I mean when they were introducing Scarecrow, they had him screaming and crying about the things that he was afraid of, and then he stumbled out onto a farm and fell down right in front of a scarecrow as it started storming and raining in front of him.
Oh, he totally becomes
Wow.
a penguin, right?
Yeah, totally.
So basically, the show
Penguin
is
Man.
just like a fan service.
Not even fan
Yeah.
service. It's more like, guys, look at these villains. What? No,
Yes.
Batman. Now let me throw it at you. And then
Where
they're
to
throwing
God.
villains at you.
It's like the help
It's like,
I've
look at
fallen
these
and
sexy
can't get up
young
of,
villains.
of superhero universes.
It's like if they threw a sexy young Lex Luthor and be like, look, but there's no Superman. Love him.
He already is. He's just being bad. Is anyone going to stop him? Not for a while.
That's exactly.
I would
what
watch
it
that
is.
show. I would love to see a strip club with a bunch of villains.
Oh my god, no! And first off, there is a strip club in Gotham, and that's where all the villains hang out.
Well,
Really?
Except
Could it just be
a
about
lot of
that?
the villains are still like teenagers, so some of them don't. But like the young adult ones, they hang out at the bar.
So does Penguin do a little like striptease for Jim Gordon?
He owns the bar, actually. He owns it.
Oh, so he does it all the time then.
Yeah, but
Does he have like he has a penguin routine? He slides into the pole, and then does his thing.
yeah, of course. That's my favorite part of the show.
Commissioner
I
Gordon
think-
owns the bar?
No, Penguin owns the bar.
Oh.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
But Jim Gordon
Commissioner
tips a
Gordon.
lot.
I've really got to take a bite out of crime. Meanwhile, in my bar.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I don't know. Gordon sort of takes over like the Batman role in this, but he's really bad at it. And Bruce, in case you were wondering, is the worst. He's just like a spoiled, rotten fucking child. Like, oh, I saved this from last night when I was watching it. He is attempting to build a bomb in his mansion because, he found the Batcave, which he did not build himself. His father built it and left it behind for him in the show.
Of course, absolutely.
Of course.
I just,
Yeah, you seem surprised by that.
I just like the idea of Bruce Wayne's dad just in a cave building stuff. It's like, my son's gonna need this one day. I don't know for what.
I have to go to the theater. I hope I get shot.
I found you, Mr. Wayne.
But, Alfred walks in on him attempting to build a bomb, and the exact exchange is Alfred says, "You don't know the first thing about making a bomb, do you?" Bruce Wayne says, "I read a book, Alfred."
Oh,
That's
What
fucking
if
awful. Also,
Yeah.
just
Dad
I'm,
was just
I'm sure the TeamSpeak noises are going to be recorded in this, and we should probably explain them,
Mhm,
considering
it
people were
is.
talking over them. So that was Dan dropping out because his computer is terrible.
I thought we were gonna ignore that, but yeah, now you
But
guys know.
I was gonna say, what if Bruce Wayne's dad was trying to make a competing bar / strip club, so he made the cave, and then now he's gonna be, and he was working on it. Maybe like we didn't see in the origin that there was actually strip poles everywhere.
Um,
I like the way that we
How-
lost Dan and Shua just keeps trucking forward.
How how is Alfred's character in the show?
Alfred is awful. There's one
I
point where
mean-
Hmm?
I think the
I
worst thing
heard
that a
Alfred
show
was
like
the
this
best
has
part.
going for it is that it's coming off of a trilogy that's hugely celebrated.
Yes.
It's like they literally won Academy Awards. Fucking Leonardo DiCaprio hasn't won an Academy Award, but the fucking Dark Knight trilogy has won like 6.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And then they're
the
gonna
thing
make
is,
some
like,
half-baked TV show. At least like Daredevil. I know a lot of people have problems with Daredevil, but I really liked it. But Daredevil came from Ben Affleck and Jennifer Gardner's turd baby. It's like they could only go up from there.
But they didn't.
I loved Daredevil. I thought that was a really
Daredevil
clever
was
show.
great.
Absolutely love Daredevil.
I'm a little worried for season 2 though, because the writers
Daredevil
are
was
working on
good,
it.
and I liked it, but I had some fundamental issues with it. But Shua can confirm. My
Okay.
big issues with it are because
Baby
Daredevil
Fisk.
is my favorite superhero, and I've been reading him for years.
Baby Fisk.
Also,
Wilson Fisk was
this
always
is
a baby. Looked like a baby.
Oh. But you have to admit, I mean, he actually lived up to what the Kingpin should have been. I mean,
no,
that
he didn't. No, he didn't.
No, but
He
I
has
think
wrongs
so.
with that.
I think on like a character level, the first season was them breaking him.
Yeah.
I mean, he still had like a shred of humanity left in him, even though he was like, you know, the protagonist of, or the antagonist, I mean, of that season. But by the end of it, spoiler alert, I guess, I've already fucking spoiled it, so whatever. By the end of it, he has nothing, and he's in a cell, and I'm sure he's just fuming and going absolutely mental.
Oh, and he's married though, so that's a plus.
Yeah. Well,
but he
even-
did have a wall in front of him, so maybe that was giving him a calming effect.
Oh, stare at it.
Walls are cute.
He-
I hate a wall.
Walls are great friends when you're lonely.
I know this is like an unpopular opinion, but for as great as the Daredevil show was on Netflix, and it was incredible, I think that Ben Affleck Daredevil had a better Kingpin. He just did. Their Kingpin was probably the only good thing about that movie. Because Kingpin has never, in any point in history, had any sort of sympathetic thing to him. And I know, you know, you're supposed to want to make your characters like human or whatever, but I feel like instead of making him human, they took away a lot of the ruthlessness of him. Because I think my biggest criticism of Marvel movies and shows now is that I've never been afraid of any of the villains that they have.
Yeah,
I
the
was
thing-
afraid of the Kingpin, though.
The thing that sucks about the movie series is you always know how those are going to end.
Yeah.
But there were
Mhm.
moments in that Netflix series where, you know, shit got really fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
It did. It did.
I will never be
Um,
able to
Dude,
close a car
there's a lot
door
of blood.
comfortably again.
The Kingpin in the Affleck movie, that was the dude from the Green Mile, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He died.
He's
Yeah,
just a
rest in
badass
peace.
anyway. He
Yeah.
died? No way.
He
When
is
did that happen?
A couple of years ago, actually.
A couple of years ago.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah.
Great actor.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just tell that that guy was such a sweetheart anyway. I'm
Yeah.
sorry that I just keep saying that guy. I have no idea what his name is.
I think his last name's Jones, I think. I'll Google
His
this
name
while-
was His Duncan, actually.
His last name was Jones? Is that a race thing,
Michael
Schwab?
Clark Duncan.
That's what it is. I don't know.
I think
You
his
were
last
close.
name was Jackson.
Oh my
Even
god.
Jackson is closer to Duncan than Jones.
So speaking of high standard quality entertainment movies, I know that Jesse's super
Oh, no.
excited. Jesse is so unbelievably excited. He told me about the Peanuts movie coming out.
Oh no.
Oh,
Fuck
really?
the Peanuts movie. Okay.
Okay.
There's
Oh, no.
okay.
Oh
So
no.
the trailer is released, and suddenly there's like a huge backlash because they have this like in the UK they have at least like a classical score to the trailer. I like the UK trailer. The US trailer has The Who, and the fucking Peanuts series is a jazz. It's always been scored with jazz, and I understand that you're making a new adaptation, blah 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 blah, but you don't have to fucking turn it into Shrek. I mean, at least like do something true to the original series.
Charlie Brown's gonna be a racist.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a new take, Fuzz.
Oh. Linus is gonna take a clock to school with him and have a lot of problems.
God.
Have to.
Snoopy's a drug dealer.
That's
Don't
not
get
gonna
me
happen. Linus is
Snoop is a drug dealer. I was doing some reading yesterday though after I went on a pretty significant rant, pretty overly dramatic rant in our group chat about the Peanut series. They didn't cast anyone to play Snoopy in Woodstock. They're using archival voice work.
I really
Really?
like that.
good.
Yeah, that's all actual like original Snoopy and Woodstock voice work.
Saving a few bucks.
Yeah. And I did read that they're probably doing a jazz score, but then I read that there's going to be a Meghan Trainor song. It's like I hope it's the credits. That's all I can say. If it's anything but the credits, I'm going to be pissed off about it.
I'm so sure that the Meghan Trainor song isn't going to be in the background of any major scenes. If anything, it's going to be the opening credits.
All
or
I'm thinking
the
about
closing
is
credits.
Meghan Trainor talking about peanuts and body positivity.
Fuck Meghan Trainor, dude.
That shouldn't be the opening credits. The opening credits needs to be Linus and Lucy.
It's
Or
gonna be
Linus
like
and-
all
yeah,
about
Linus
that
and Lucy.
peanuts, about that peanuts. And it's gonna be that's the end of the movie.
Well, okay, I'm a music nerd, and I'm also like way overly sentimental. So the Peanuts just like meet at that intersection for me, and when you start fucking with things that are like definitely intrinsic to the series, I get probably overly defensive about it.
I think that's kind of what happened with me when they were recreating Ninja Turtles, this Michael Bay edition and all that. Oh man, it was too much. It was too much, and it took away kind of like that fun-loving little kid mystery of what the Ninja Turtles were. Then it turned it into like these
Aliens.
yeah, it was like that's too much, man.
Can I try to like make you feel a little bit better about it, though, Jesse?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I do agree that I'm worried a lot about it, but like it was written by Charles Schultz's sons, so they had like an integral part in making the movie.
Well, I mean that doesn't say much. Luke Skywalker killed his dad, so.
That why he's dead? His son's killed him.
Spoiler alert.
I can't believe he killed his dad, Chewbacca.
God, spoiler.
Never saw him as being the main villain.
God. Like,
No!
I've never seen the movie, so I can't call you on it, but that feels wrong.
You've never seen Star Wars?
I have not seen Star Wars.
I'm not even going to crucify you for that.
Is that a sin to not watch Star Wars? At least
well-
one movie of Star Wars? Is that a sin now?
I have seen the first one, and I was present for the second one.
You were present. What were you doing though during the second one?
Hmm?
What were you doing during the second one? That you were
I don't know.
were you
I don't know.
Netflixing and chilling?
The podcast might get a little bit personal right now. Sorry, Pat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's hear it. Dan's gone. Do it.
Okay. I saw, because when I was like dating my ex, like he was also incredulous that I had never seen any of the Star Wars movies and decided to force me to watch them. So I watched the first one, and I was like, hey, this is super great. And then he was going to make me watch the second one, and I was like, I'm starting to hate you a little bit. So instead of watching it, I just like sat on my phone the whole time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
yeah, you
I-
should
I
never
just-
have to watch Star Wars. It should be something you want.
Yeah, I did like the first one, but now Star Wars is sort of connected with a person that I dislike very deeply.
So are you not gonna go see Star Wars Episode 6?
I know I know that somebody's gonna drag me to see it.
Someone will.
I feel it. I know it's gonna happen.
Because there's gonna be like a million Star Wars movies in the future, so...
You don't understand. I'm gonna get dragged to go see it. So,
Oh, by the way, the
who fucking
Snoopy
knows?
commercials he's usually in, it's called MetLife. It's like a company. And I just want to add, if you add an each to it, it's the Meth Life. So it confirms Snoopy is a drug dealer.
Oh,
Thank you.
Great. We did it.
I solved the mystery, guys. Snoopy's bad.
Snoopy
Well-
was always kind of a jerk, just a little bit.
if you guys would like me to kind of, I don't want to ruin anybody's childhood, but I have a funny little article in front of me that talks about Peter Robbins. He's the one who did the voice for Charlie Brown in the Christmas special. Is everybody okay if I ruin their childhood for just a little bit?
ruin it.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
Well, Peter Robbins, who was a child voice actor, and he did the role of Charlie Brown in the Christmas special. He once told a San Diego Superior Court judge he hopes he drops dead of a heart attack. And also, when he was 58, he pleaded guilty in 2013 to threatening his then girlfriend and stalking the plastic surgeon who performed a breast augmentation on her. He was sentenced to 5 years probation and ordered a live-in drug treatment program. I'm sorry, I
Sounds
didn't
like
know
a
why I had time.
pretty
I feel
level-headed
like that's
guy.
something Charlie Brown would do.
That sounds like Snoopy.
Sounds like Charlie Brown.
Huh.
Figures out he has cancer and... No, he has...
That is not how that ended. Did you guys have that little cancer thing in elementary school? Like the Peanuts cancer special or whatever?
No.
Peanuts cancer
Oh.
special. That is the worst thing I've possibly
What is
ever
that?
heard in my
What
life.
is that?
It's just
She's
it's just
fucking
called Charlie.
She's
It's
holding the
called Charlie
football,
has
and
cancer.
Charlie runs up to kick it, and he just passes out and coughs up a bunch of blood before he even gets
He
there.
doesn't.
Oh,
He doesn't even kick it. He just walks up. He's like,
No.
"I have cancer," and that's the
Oh
end.
man. We have
That
to
was
watch
Linus,
it
and
later.
Linus was like,
We have to watch it later. The worst
The-
part is
The whole thing is Linus's blanket gets a malignant tumor that's totally inoperable. It only has 4 months to live. And they're all sitting around the blanket as it just becomes a tumorous mass of all of their failures.
Is this in the new movie?
oh.
And that's the podcast,
Oh,
everybody.
God.
Thanks for tuning in.
You know,
Um,
I would like to point out that earlier today I had a very strong revelation. I remember at the first time I met everybody on the Dark Brotherhood server that it was the first thing that stuck out to me was this trial where Jesse allegedly had burned down somebody's house in the server, and Drew
I
had
deny
to
all charges.
and Drew had to defend him using the Wookiee defense.
Is that
which-
Wilkes?
Yes.
God.
Oh,
And
good times.
I thought, golly, who are these guys? These guys are crazy. And it wasn't until yesterday that Drew had to use the Wookiee defense for me because I was using too many dad jokes, I guess, that I realized, oh, I think I may have changed a little bit. I'm not sure if I've lost something or I've gained something or
Something
just-
is broken inside of you.
exactly. It's like before I would never have, but so yes, my mind has definitely shifted in a very weird direction.
Very
I
dark
mean-
places.
The Wookiee defense got OJ off, and it got me off, and I'm sure it'll continue getting people off.
I hope it gets me off.
Please stop.
I know it's already gotten me off.
Man,
Plus,
so the Charlie Brown
I'm sorry
cancer
we didn't get you
special.
off, but
Oh.
Back to more appropriate topics. The Charlie Brown cancer special. No,
But I got
Fuzz.
a question for you, Fuzz. If you needed to ask your friend, what would you rather talk about? Would it be the Charlie Brown cancer
Cancer.
special, or the Wookiee defense to get off?
You guys can
Which
say what you
one?
want, but the
Which
cancer
one?
special was very heartwarming.
Oh.
Did someone die at the end?
No. Nobody died
No.
in the fucking Peanuts.
What?
From
Then why is it a
cancer.
cancer special?
It's called
God.
Why Charlie Brown Why. And basically Linus meets this little girl who has leukemia.
is she bald?
She does go bald and it's very sad.
Oh, that's so
terrible.
hot.
No.
Does this exist? This is a thing.
No, it exists. It's real. It
That-
won Emmy.
Off to-
Is awful.
We should watch it later. It's a really good special.
Yeah,
I-
I'll pop up some corn and we can watch the cancer special. Great.
Would not like
That's
to
good,
cry myself to
man.
sleep tonight.
They
Right.
showed it to us. They showed it to us every single year in elementary school. When we
Every
had-
year?
Every
Fuck,
single
let's
year.
make you cry again with the Sleep Around special.
They showed it to you every year? That seems
Every year.
excessive as the hell. Maybe like once is maybe a little too much, but every year.
They
All
showed
right,
it to me
kids.
so many times.
had a
I'm
great
surprised that
year
you guys
so
have never heard
far.
of it.
We've been studying the Oregon Trail and Dr. King, and let's watch the cancer special.
Cancer.
Hey kids, we're gonna have a fun, relaxing day. I even rolled into VCR with the TV, and man, we're gonna watch the Charlie Brown Cancer special. And then they go home and they tell their parents about their exciting day at school. It's wonderful.
Was by chance, did you
Buzz,
get
please.
like did they show you like Garfield gets AIDS cancer special?
And then they raised the price of Garfield's aid medication from $13 to $370.
Why? Okay. Schwa, why on earth would the Garfield Gets AIDS special be called the Garfield Gets AIDS Cancer Special?
because I got more.
Because it's a
just
two-part
after
series.
Garfield's on the the second part's Odie gets cancer.
There's not even like a piracy warning or like an MPAA rating in the beginning. It just says, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here," in black letter. And then you go home, 7 years old, the day before you had just been playing with your Barbies or your G.I. Joes, and your parents say, "What did you learn in school today?" And you look at them, a
There is
changed
no
little
God.
person, and you say, "There is no God, and I'm no longer afraid to die."
Just imagine Garfield. Today I learned lasagna can't cure AIDS. And that's
But-
the end of cancer.
Aw.
No matter how much lasagna you eat, it won't help your immune system.
Boy, I hate Mondays, and then it ends.
I hate Mondays.
Oh.
My kidneys are failing. Anyway, well,
No, but seriously though, just like the Charlie Brown Cancer special, Garfield lived at the end, and he
but-
immediately got hit by the milk truck. But
Yeah.
he did survive the diseases, so
You can't say too much about Odie, though.
They
But-
showed-
while we're on this heartwarming subject, I
Oh,
think
love it.
it's important that the world knows that as of today, I believe, the Happy Birthday song is now back in the public domain.
yay! All right.
That's
happy
right.
news.
So we're going to start hearing Happy Birthday in media and content.
In everything.
About
Yeah,
time.
I'm stoked. How many times have you seen like a shitty Pixar movie where they're like, "It's your birthday. What's up? It's your birthday."
I
Good for
never even thought
you.
of that.
That's never happened in a Pixar movie ever, actually.
I mean, so many things you watch where they have to like skirt around a birthday because
It
no
is
one
your
wants to pay that
birthday.
shitty royalty.
Yeah.
It is your birthday.
No more! We will
Yeah,
no
no.
longer be oppressed by the tyranny of public domain. I mean, well, no, it's public domain. Of intellectual property.
If big booty bitches can be on public domain, that'd be great.
Do you know what this
Wanna hear
means?
more of that?
guys? Now, when you go to Applebee's on your birthday, they can sing you whatever song you like.
No, I never
I
thought of
would-
that. Is
I
that
would
why they do
love-
that?
Like,
That is exactly why they do that.
I would love a fucking Warner Brothers. I don't even know if Warner Music owned it. I believe it was Warner Music, but I would love a Warner Music intellectual property lawyer to just slap down his card at a table while they're singing the birthday song to their kids and be like, "That's it. You're on notice.
Just
I
How
would
get rid
not
dare
be
you
surprised.
give my kid joy in a late
Well, with
minute."
Happy Birthday on the domain, the year 2020, Happy Birthday, the movie's gonna come out for sure. There's no doubt about it.
Can't wait. It's gonna be 2.5 hours of people singing the song over and over again.
100 birthdays.
yeah.
It just goes around different everybody's birthday, and how it wasn't until 2015 that they could finally start singing Happy Birthday to themselves.
Sounds like a fun movie.
I think so.
Mm-hmm. They'll
Oh
rent
my
it
God.
like millions.
Speaking of fun movies, guys, I just got an alert on Twitter.
What did you get?
Here we go.
Is there a new
I'll
cancer
read it to you
special?
word for word.
I'm excited. New cancer special?
Sure. We're gonna watch it later because you don't trust me that it's very heartwarming.
Aw.
Have you met Paul's sister, Paula? Paula Blart, Mall Cop, starring Melissa McCarthy, hits theaters February 12th, 2017.
Oh, Jesse.
Bullshit.
Tweeted
Are you
out from
fucking with
Sony
me?
Oh,
Pictures.
here we go.
Are you fucking with me?
And
This
on
is
There's
that
the
note,
link. For the
I am
link
no
done.
longer afraid to die.
Oh my gosh.
Are we seriously running out of movie ideas? Like, is this it for us? Like, this is the best we're gonna get?
Paul Blart makes a lot of money.
Melissa McCarthy, Paul Blart movie.
You know what, though?
What are the history books gonna say? And then they made a Melissa McCarthy, Paul Blart movie, and it was like the second burning of the Library of Alexandria. It's like,
But honestly, though, like, hearing the words Melissa McCarthy, Paul Blart movie, it's not surprising. It's not like a surprising arrangement of words. That's just like, oh yeah, that's the natural progression.
we're totally desensitized to like shit content.
Melissa
That we're just like,
McCarthy.
oh yep, I guess of course they'd fucking do that. Melissa McCarthy, Paul Blart movie, whatever. And this is why I drink.
And then you go home and watch the Charlie Brown cancer special by yourself while singing happy birthday to yourself.
That sounds
With
like
no
my
lawyers
Thursday night.
interfering.
I love the top two response. Oh, I love the first two responses on this Twitter thing. Oh God, what have you done? And the next one, you knew this day would come.
Yeah.
It's like it was foretold.
So I have to tell you guys kind of a crazy story. A little background. I have decided that basic white people are really dumb and easy to con into paying you $100 for a lamp made out of a
Jesse,
hunk of wood
think about me.
and an Edison light bulb on Etsy. And
Oh,
I can
boy.
do
I paid
that
$200.
very easily for like $6. So I'm starting to do that. I'm going to be selling Edison lamps on
making
Etsy
lamps
for
now?
like fucking 90%
Nice.
profits. So I am on my way home from work the other day, and I stop at Home Depot, and I'm parking my Jeep, and I get out, and I notice this police car, I guess is the best way to describe it, except it's covered in graphics, and it has a satellite dish on the top, and and a New Hampshire state flag, a U.S. state flag. Well, not state flag, but a U.S. flag, a New York state flag, and a Gadsden flag, the snake, don't tread on me, Tea Party bullshit. I'm intrigued, so I walk up to this police car. It has a light bar on the top. It's a Crown Victoria, like the classic police car that we've all seen since like 1980, whatever. I mean, I didn't, but you know. Pat.
I have.
Yeah.
Go on with your story.
And if
Get off my
Dan,
lawn.
our other resident old person, was here, so this car is just covered in Donald Trump graphics and like craziness. I'll try to get a photo for the blog spot, but I'm just looking at this like, what the fuck is this thing? And then I remember that I've seen this car before when I was house sitting in a town near mine, out more in the woods. And there was a mailbox sort of near where I was house sitting that said Donald Trump Jr. on it. And I would see this car go up and down, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's where I've seen this car. So I'm like outside kind of looking at it, taking some photos, and just sort of trying to figure out what the hell this is. When this guy walks up, I shit you not, dressed like Donald Trump, introduces himself as Donald Trump, is not Donald Trump, is like some 90-year-old guy in a shitty, like, piss yellow toupee that thinks he's Donald Trump. This guy actually thought he was Donald Trump. And I wish
Did you
I
pretend he
wish
was
I had
Donald Trump?
recorded
Like,
this
hey, Donald.
interaction because he's like, "Oh, I'm Donald Trump. I'm running for president. I'm going to be on the debate tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, do you like work for his campaign?" No, I'm Donald Trump. He thought he was Donald Trump. This guy thinks he's Donald Trump. His mailbox says Donald Trump.
Do you
So-
think?
So long story short,
Oh my
I met
God.
a man who thinks he's Donald Trump.
Okay. Were you wearing a hat, and also did he like it?
I was wearing my my trucker cap that said "Make America Great Again," and he just adored it.
What a hat.
What a hat!
Great hat. Hat's gonna make him win.
But that's my
Dying
story.
it.
That was my trip up Uncanny Valley, meeting a Donald Trump replicant.
You know what? I feel like I kind of feel like that grandfather that the dad's too like busy with his life to take care of his kids, so he just leaves the grandfather in charge, and grandfather just slowly goes and rocks himself in the corner while the kids say the most horrible things possible.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yes, children. Yes, children.
That's right, Grandpa.
Oh.
So apparently
You-
go on.
Oh, sorry.
just-
Jesse, you talking about Donald Trump made me want to Google him. And I found out that Rand Paul is going to be here in 12 hours. Not like here, like in my living room, but, like at my school.
Will he also be
Enjoy.
dressed as Donald Trump?
God, I hope so.
I hope he introduces
so,
himself
too.
as Donald Trump.
That's the only thing that's going to get me to go see him, honestly.
And that dead air.
Ah.
I was
Do
watching
you think? Oh, go ahead.
the Joe Rogan podcast the other day, and he was talking about how afraid everyone who's starting a podcast is of dead air. And I
think
thought to
dead
myself,
air. Go ahead.
I like dead air.
I wanted us to leave that pause for a little bit longer.
See, in marketing, and I could be wrong, but they teach us about a pregnant silence, where you wait for the other person to say something because you've inferred it so much that you're leading them to the conclusion on their own.
Yeah, there's
Sometimes-
some anticipation there.
Yeah, sometimes silence speaks louder than words.
It's like if I were to say the word, if the Muppet Show is perverted, Jesse would say.
Bananas.
I don't really think it is actually perverted, but I've noticed right now.
would say.
Buzz.
Tua and I are super into the Muppets now.
Well, I haven't
That's
seen the
awesome.
new episode, but
My dad
apparently
said
it's
that it
very
was, like,
dirty.
The
It is
Office.
very dirty.
It
Yeah,
is like
it's
The
like-
Office.
It's like no.
Yeah, it is.
I
It's
didn't watch
fine. It's funny. It's clever. I think it actually has a neat because it's definitely geared more towards adults. But I mean, I could see where a kid who's looking at it's not going to understand what's going on.
That's
So,
most
I'm-
kid shows.
If I see
Kids
one
are-
more pig blowjob reference happen, I'm gonna fucking throw my
Oh my
TV out of the window.
But
There's
talking
I
about
swear there's a few of them.
kid shows that kids don't really understand a lot of the jokes in, Adventure Time, I think, is one of those.
Oh yeah.
Like, totally.
Oh yeah.
Totally. I'm sure a
Absolutely.
kid watching Adventure Time doesn't understand half the shit that's going on in that show. And I'm like, I can't believe they got Cartoon Network to put this on the air.
I am going to add the fucking Ice King nihilism thing to the fucking link dump. In which, I don't know, I think I've shown it to Jesse before, but there is definitely a moment where Ice King is reading a comic called Nihilism Funnies, and it's just straight up like the weight of 1,000 cities crushing down on you, your hopes, your will, your
Yeah,
children.
He's actually reading Nietzsche.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Oop.
I love that, though.
So, yeah, but it's still rated like TV Y7. Like, I'm
I
not one of
know.
those people that's like censor kids shows, but I side eye a little bit at that.
I appreciate that brand of humor, though, because it doesn't hit you over the head and you really have to be looking for it. And I think
That's true.
that it's something that's lost in a lot of television that's geared toward adults. Like, not to be overly nostalgic or whatever, but you watch like movies on TCM, and there's a lot of innuendo in those. But you really have to dig for it. It's not just given to you on a silver plate. It's not like dick jokes. You know, there's Humphrey Bogart getting laid, but they're not saying he's getting laid. It's just implied.
Not to get nostalgic, Jesse says, after half an hour ago complaining that the Peanuts score doesn't
Fuck
mirror
the
the same
Peanuts
score
movie.
from 50 years ago.
That movie needs to get off my lawn.
Welcome to us old people, Jesse. We've been waiting.
God.
You know, something that surprised me though is that Fuzz apparently doesn't like to go camping, and which is a real shame because we're going on the Why Did Ask For camping trip.
We are not. We're not.
We are absolutely.
I would love to do that.
One time.
I don't have a tent, but I'd love to go hiking.
Absolutely not. One time.
Can we make a fire and roast weenies? Roast my weenie.
Oh.
Dan is gonna hate this.
Yeah, Dan, I'm not in control. I've lost control.
We're not gonna be on the podcast again in a long time.
No. Look, it's late at night. I'm really tired.
Dan is
the
the
best
Gus of
material
this
I
group.
got.
Oh God.
I did a lot of recording today. This is the best I got right now.
Okay, so Fuzz, what experience made you not like camping? Because I mean, that's a lot of fun. You go out there, you experience the wilderness and bears and so forth.
The outside.
Outside. Is that like a Gus antagonistic?
You're from North Carolina too, so I thought that would be in your blood.
No.
Going out, taking a big.
Listen.
North Carolina. Here's Canadian.
Here's the deal.
Shut up.
One time in high school, I used to watch a lot of Oprah, like a lot. It was my
Rest
show.
in peace, Oprah.
Yeah, it really sucks about that accident.
One day,
Tragedy.
One day, Oprah was like, you know, Black people don't go camping. And I'm sure that what she was saying was that we, as a culture and ethnicity, should embrace the outdoors and see this and have like family experiences being outdoors and like taking in nature. But what I heard was,
So
you're not allowed to go
Black,
camping.
don't go outside.
So did you try to convince your parents to go camping because of Oprah?
I'm sure that's not what she was getting at.
Oh, that's what I heard, like with my ears.
I just imagine like baby Fuzz running out of a room like, Mom, Dad, Oprah said we're not allowed to go camping.
You would be right, but this is like 4 or 5 years ago.
So Oprah's your voice of reason.
Oprah is absolutely my voice of reason. But I hated the outside like before that. That just solidified the, yep, I'm not going anywhere.
I hated the outside before it was cool.
What scared you then? That when you went outside, you're like, nope. Backing it up. Oprah lied to me.
There's nothing out there for me, you know?
So oxygen, grass, trees, nothing for you?
I'm not about that life.
Are you about the plastic tree life?
Ah, yeah, I love plastic trees.
I would like to get a plastic tree. I feel like it would add color to my room.
I mean, you can do that shit. It's only like $20.
Yeah, but then I have to go find it, and I haven't found a plastic tree yet.
Oh my God. Just go to your resident Canadian plastic tree store.
Oh,
So I got a message from Dan saying, I feel like I'm missing a good podcast.
No.
I am sad.
He missed my weenies joke. I'm glad he's not here.
Guys, did you hear the thing that Edward Snowden said about encryption and aliens?
Oh, I heard I heard the title of it, but I don't know what he meant.
Well, I listened to it yesterday. Basically, he was talking to Neil deGrasse Tyson of Cosmos and being a super intelligent, awesome human fame, and saying, you know, basically encryption, he thinks, is eventually going to reach a level where if it's viewed from space, if our signals, internet communications, whatever, are viewed from space, they're just going to look like background cosmic radiation, and he thinks that's why we haven't heard from aliens, because basically, even if we were intercepting any type of communique, it would just look like radiation to us because their encryption would be so far advanced we wouldn't even realize that we're picking up on whatever they're sending.
Do you guys believe in aliens?
I
don't
do.
know.
I think. Well,
Wait,
I mean, I'm
illegal
not one of those
aliens?
people that's like they fucking
Yes.
landed in Nevada 60
Illegal
years ago.
aliens.
But
Do you believe in the Mexicans jumping over the border? Pat?
Oh, I absolutely believe in them. I see them every day. It's wonderful.
oh my god, Pat.
What? I
Can you
I
imagine
live in El
Pat
Paso.
with
I
one-
see it all
Well,
the time.
that's it for this podcast.
I mean,
I imagine Pat with a lawn chair at the border, and he's just watching them jump. And it's like, who's gonna jump the highest?
Oh God!
that
Oh
one
my
made it.
God.
I
That one made it.
denounce,
That one didn't make
denounce
it.
and reject
Oh,
everything
God.
being said in this podcast.
This
I-
podcast has
I didn't bring
everything
it
in
there.
it.
I was trying to
it
have
was
a,
a-
I was
it
trying to have a
was a
serious
joke.
conversation about
I am
aliens.
not Jesse. I am a gross characterization of myself. This is not actually
Man.
me. This is a character.
Jesse,
and
kiss your career goodbye. Pat,
my career.
we have
I would
serious
bury this so
serious
that your son
opinions
doesn't
here
do this
on
later.
a comedic style podcast.
My
Absolutely.
real name is Jonathan. My name is not Shwa.
My name is Tucker Tucker.
Nick-
That's right.
Nick
My
Jr.?
last name is the same as my first.
Anyway, aliens. Fuzz,
But-
you're a believer?
Like I said, I think that there's something out there, but I also am not one of those people that's like, they landed in Nevada 60 years ago and they've been hiding from us, you know? I think that it's very conceited to believe that in the infinity that is the universe, that's everything out there and everything that could be possible, that we are somehow the only place that can harbor living, intelligent beings.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, in a seemingly infinite universe, it's sort of arrogant to believe that we're the only sentience that's here.
Or the only frontier?
I'm glad
Well,
there's I'm glad there's no one that listens to the podcast to bitch at us about our pseudoscience.
We haven't gotten
Yeah.
into that yet, though. We're being very light science right now.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the same science that, like, that whole wow signal that the Laser Team movie is based off of. I mean, that actually did happen. I mean, you can create a story over what it could have been or why it happened, but I mean, something obviously caught somebody's interest, so it had to have been something different happening in the universe that maybe we don't know anything about.
There's
think that
actually going
Pat
to
is
be a cancer
suggesting we
special
make a
about
movie.
that, Pat. Don't worry. I just suggest a cancer special about the wild
No.
signal.
Oh gosh. The alien cancer special. They come to Earth. Hey, you guys have the cure all this time. No, we don't. We have Charlie Brown and watch this cancer special.
Charlie Brown.
Oh my
They
god.
just
Can we
they
call
just gotta
this-
push Charlie Brown.
Can we call this Chapter 7 the cancer special?
Oh,
Yeah.
please, no, please.
Taylor keeps joking like I'm not about to make him watch this as soon as we're done with this podcast.
Oh, I will not watch it right after. I'm just gonna leave.
Please. Very important.
I don't know. Uh,
Join us again in 12 years when we set up a Kickstarter to fund our new movie.
what movie would you want to make if you had all the money in the world? That's a good question. I think
Howard
about
the Duck
sometimes.
remake.
Really? You'd
Yes.
want to do something? Yeah.
Yes.
They are making that.
A
Aren't
good
they?
one.
No, they're not.
No, there's rumors.
I think
Mm,
at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, there was a
It-
end of the credit scene.
That
Yeah,
was
but-
a callback, but not
Yeah.
like a, like a confirmation. That was just, for
I
Marvel
remember
fans.
when we made this movie. It wasn't very good. Good
But that
times.
is, since I became a film major, that has been my goal to make
A Howard
a
Duck
Howard the
movie.
Duck remake.
What
I
would be
want
your
it.
best Howard the Duck joke? Have you thought of that?
Hmm?
Your best Howard the Duck joke. Like, what joke would you make that would be, the joke of the movie?
Let me be completely honest with you. I have never seen Howard the Duck end to end. My experience with Howard the Duck is my best friend was having a birthday party, and we were like, let's find the worst movies that we can and just like marathon through them at the party. So I was charged with finding the movies, and I thought of myself Howard the Duck. And you know, it was gonna be like a ton of people there, so I didn't want to be the one who has like an awkward sex scene, and I knew that it was like an adult movie, so I decided to turn it on and scrub through the movie, and there are duck nipples. And I got to duck nipples, and I was like, I'm not watching this movie today.
Duck nips?
Yeah.
Well, the Bible does say that the road to hell is paved in duck nipples. So totally understandable.
That's so horrible. That's so horrible.
I don't know who we haven't offended tonight.
Chapter 7, the worst podcast.
I wouldn't say it's the worst. It's definitely the oddest.
I think this goes to show that when Dan's not here, it gets massively derailed and horrible things happen.
The problem is that Shua and Jesse are both wild cards, and they're both here today.
I think that's why it's going to be such a great podcast when heavily edited to its perfection.
Shua, would you rather...
Oh, God.
I want to hear it. I'll answer.
Would you rather get $1 million a day, but a parakeet has to say the whole Necromonicon in your ear?
Okay.
Necromonicon?
Yeah, that's the mythical book of necromancy.
No, he said Necromonicon. It's the Necronomicon.
Yeah,
So,
I don't care.
Is the bird on your side? Is he like your friend?
It's sitting on your ear. It speaks perfect necromancer language, and it whispers the whole thing in your ear all day.
Oh, I like that.
And you never get used to it. You always feel kind of scared of it.
Oh, so okay.
But you get $1 million. Or every time you're hungry, you have to be slapped by the entire Congress of the United States before you can eat on the face.
Ooh.
Okay. Every time I'm hungry.
Just so you know, Shua, since you are Canadian, that's about 400 people, I think.
Will they kiss me after? Because I'm not going to get slapped.
They won't.
Kiss.
They won't. But the food is always good.
So
and it's
fucking
free.
dirty of them. Ooh. Like, how good of a sandwich is it when I take a bite of it?
If you want a sandwich, it's a 5-star sandwich.
Only Jesse could make the necromancer bird seem like a better alternative.
Is it pet by Obama itself? Like, when I get the sandwich, just like
if
Obama,
you want President
hold it for
Obama to prepare your sandwich, if that would somehow make the experience of eating it better for you,
yes. Get slapped.
But you do have to get slapped.
How hard is it? Is it like a love tap, or is it like a
It's not a joke, but it's not trying to debilitate you, but you're gonna have a bruised face after 435 people slap you.
Oh.
I'm just like testing the slap ratio. I feel like I do the slap. I would
do
love
it. This
to
is
get...
every time you get hungry. You have to eat 3 times a day.
Every time you want to eat, you have to get slapped by 435. That's gonna take like an hour at least.
I don't have to eat.
But you're gonna die if you don't.
Well, like I can just... Well, what, like, can I do stuff, like, if I want to eat, can he make big bulks of it? Like, make me this much, and then I'm done for, like, a month. And then...
No, anytime you want food to touch your mouth, the United States House of Representatives has to slap you.
I'm really tempted for the second one, don't get me wrong. I really want to do it.
Bird.
But the bird... I would go with the second one just because I would want President Obama to make me a sandwich, then feed it to me. It'd be worth it. I think he makes a mean peanut butter and jelly.
Oh my God.
Just no crust, he just feeds it to me.
You know what? Dan doesn't miss us. And I know that Dan doesn't miss us because he's tweeting about the Blue Jays right now.
Aw.
Oh, Dan and the Blue Jays. He's
God,
watching his
baseball,
Blue Jays
right?
game right now in a happy world, and then he's gonna listen to this,
and
all that's gonna fall away.
I want you, as you're listening to this, Dan, notice that I'm not one of the people that said the awful things today.
Would you rather watch the?
You want views, Fuzz?
Would you rather watch
dollars?
The Garfield Cancer AIDS
So
special
ridiculous.
or the Charlie Brown Cancer special every day
Do you think
for the rest of your life?
Trump makes his money by acting like a nice person? No, he acts like Donald Trump, a douchebag.
Oh my God.
Sometimes you gotta...
No. Nope. I am
You
not.
have to watch the Charlie Brown Cancer special dressed as Donald Trump. Next, Donald Trump.
And the whole time he's going, well, I mean, I don't know about universal health care.
But the debate, right?
But he has a nice hat.
And it gets even worse because they start getting her Charlie Brown cancer bills that are like dollars. And
Oh my
and
God.
how are they going to pay for that? They can't. Not with their health
can't.
insurance. I mean, Dad just got laid off from the Charlie Brown coal mine. Mom is a teacher, but no one could understand her, so all of her kids' scores were super low. She got fired.
I found the Charlie Brown special on YouTube, and we're gonna put it in the link dump now.
Oh, no.
Please.
Oh, God.
Pat,
How horrible.
please.
Okay,
know-
okay. I have a question
you know-
about. I have a question about the sandwich. In the $1 million question.
Yeah.
Is the sandwich made out of elephant meat?
No.
Oh.
Why would it be made out of elephant meat?
Because I've never had it before,
and
and it's such a rare item.
Excuse me, President Obama. Can you go ahead and go to Africa to kill an elephant for me? Then you can.
I don't think you should tell our African American president to go to Africa and do anything for you.
Worst
That's probably a
podcast
bad
ever.
idea.
No, okay, look. That's not where I was going. Because we were talking earlier today about how a train hit an elephant, and the lifelong question of who would win, elephant versus train, was answered. The train. Now, if there was elephant meat, would you eat it for $1 million, Fuzz?
Dan, which one
was
of
it
us are you gonna fire first?
barbecued or souped?
Well,
Like an
hold
elephant soup?
up. I don't care how it's served. What are the circumstances of the elephant meat? How did that elephant go from being an elephant, happy, smart, probably one of the smartest land mammals, to being on my plate? How did that
Okay,
happen?
okay. The
worst.
elephant watched the Charlie Brown Cancer special,
Oh my
and
God.
it
this is going
in-
dark.
it slipped. No, okay, wait, no, seriously, it watched the elephant cancer special.
Well,
And
the
then-
elephant got cancer AIDS, and no amount of lasagna or peanuts would help him. And
Okay.
Someone's
come-
gotta
no,
eat
okay,
that
that all the
meat.
way. That all the way.
It
It was okay. We're in the. It's like 1,000 years from now where eating elephants is fine because we can clone them like by the thousands, right?
No.
So, like we eat. You have an elephant sandwich, and you can have $1 million if you eat the elephant sandwich. Will you
fucking
eat
eat
it,
it.
Fuzz?
No.
Eat it?
No.
Elephants are my
elephant
favorite
sandwich?
animal, which is why Pat's doing this, because he knows
Oh,
that I love
no,
elephants.
no,
Oh.
no.
Because
fuck
Pat's
me,
a bad
Dumbo.
person.
Give me Dumbo.
Give me
fucking eat Dumbo for $1 million.
The baby
I'll eat-
elephant Dumbo.
I'll eat
that
Dumbo
one?
and his mother for $1 million.
Oh my God.
you'll eat Dumbo and his mother for $1 million.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Oh,
Would
that's
you
Aw,
Jesse?
we're making Fuzz sad. Let's not.
$1 million,
back talking about
Jesse.
necromancy.
You not eat their. Disappears right in front of you. Have
I had a question to ask, but I'm so
Well-
distressed right now.
Ever? No, I'm sorry. Please.
I don't even remember what the question was.
Okay, I have a serious $1 million question here.
okay.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
after that,
And-
we're getting close to having to wrap up.
Okay. And it has to do with the fact that we're getting towards like Halloween, right? So things are starting to get a little bit spooky and all that. You could have $1 million, but on random nights, you don't get to decide for the rest of your life. You'll wake up in the middle of the night and there'll be some like old guy sitting in a chair staring at you sleeping.
Oh no.
Is
Do
he
I get to
alive?
pick who the old guy is?
He's alive and you don't know what his name is, and like he just kind of like sits there and
wait.
he's like watching you sleep.
Is it Dan?
Can you interact with him at all?
I mean, you
Because if
can
it's
like
Dan,
you
'cause
can
if it's Dan, I won't be scared. I'll be
you
like,
can
oh,
say
hey, Dan.
things.
Stuart just got
No.
kicked off the podcast.
You can say things to him, but all he'll do is like smile, and then he'll go back to just watching
Look,
you.
Fuzz. Dan
Like-
left on his own to left for the Blue Jays game. He deserves one joke about it.
Oh
Can-
God.
One joke.
Can you seal the chair in a sort of glass bubble so that he can't physically interact with you?
No, he has to just be out in the open in the room. Like kind of like if you have a corner of a room, he'll appear there in like a small little side stool, I guess, if the room's not big enough. if you have like a really big room, he'll be like in a rocking chair, just kind of like, and he won't be like right next to your bed. He'll be like a couple feet in front of you, and he won't be there every night. It's just like random nights.
Does
He'll
he
just
bring
randomly
his
show up.
own chair?
He brings his own chair,
Well, I
And
imagine,
his
like,
own
You
chair,
are how
and,
you
and
wait-
elephant sandwich.
He won't steal any of my chairs.
You actually wake up because he's dragging the chair. And he's just like, sorry to bother you.
Dragging
Let me
it
situate
across.
myself.
I live
And-
in like an on-campus apartment though, so there's not a whole lot of like room for old people in chairs.
For all we know, though, Fuzz, because you have roommates, maybe that old man will get into a relationship on your roommates.
Why do you go there?
What if you
Oh.
wake
What
up?
happened?
What-
When you're
what-
done, when he's done, you can just go. He'll be like,
Wait,
"Oh, hey."
Jesse has a question.
What if you wake up and he's just sitting there and you can't fall back asleep? What happens if the sun rises?
Yes.
Because if there's an old man in a chair in the corner of my room, and a chair that he brought, first of all,
Uh-huh.
how do you get into my house? You brought a chair with you? Do you have a car? I don't understand who you are. I'm not going to go back to sleep. How the fuck did you get in here? I'm awake. You know, I want a burrito and maybe some answers.
But I imagine if you take the $1 million, you know where he came from because, you know, you agreed to the deal.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, I guess you could try to talk to him, but I mean, he's not there specifically to answer questions. He's just there to kind of, keep an eye on you for whatever reason. Like, I don't know, to make sure that you're still alive, I guess, or I don't know.
I need you
You
to
know,
describe the
I didn't
old
think
man
it that
to me.
far in. He's like, okay, think of like the old farmer, like
Regis
super
Philbin.
skinny, like with
No,
overalls.
skinny
and
old people freak me out.
Regis. Yeah, go with Regis.
and we just lost almost all of our sponsor potential right there.
Oh yeah, that's what did it. That's the end of the sponsorships right there.
Episode 7, the downfall.
Not AIDS, cancer,
Don't worry,
Garfield, or
Dan's
sending
gonna
our
edit it.
black president
Dan's
to
gonna
Africa to
edit
go
it.
kill elephants.
Hey, I didn't say that. I did not say that.
Dan's gonna fix all this.
Yes,
But
it's, it's just gonna be a loud, censor bleep for half the podcast.
It's gonna be a 5-minute podcast.
I say Dan's not gonna do this. Every time we say cancer, it gets censored.
But we weren't talking about the disease. We were talking about the
No,
zodiac
but we
symbol
should
cancer.
censor it. They'll never know what we were talking about. We'll keep our sponsorships.
I'm kind of distressed because I think my roommates can hear me, and I know that hearing this awful podcast in the background is gonna make them think
It's
awful things
great
about me.
podcast, Fuzz. It's great quality.
But comparably, I'm less of a bad person than you guys are.
Oh, of course not. I'm a
Well,
great
that's-
person.
That's a fucking moralistic high ground
It's true.
It is.
argument to take.
Sorry.
Fuzz
Get off your
became-
high horse, Fuzz. Get off your high stool
You know
in
what
the
we
corner.
learned today? Fuzz
old
is
man.
the bad guy. That's what we learned. Fuzz
First-
is the bad guy.
For a
If we're
second there, I
going
thought
simply
Jesse said
based on
high
things
horse.
we've talked about today, I'm way ahead.
I haven't talked about anything.
Shut up.
Don't worry, Jesse. They'll mute everything we said. Fuzz will be the bad guy.
You know, guys, at the end of the day, are any of us really here in this podcast right now, or are we all just somewhere in a cryogenic sleep chamber, just deciding if we should take the red pill or the blue pill? You know.
I got
Yeah.
a cucumber, Jesse. We can use the cucumber.
Stop.
And on that note,
Chop, chop.
oh my
Chop,
God,
chop.
it's Stan. Will he come? Will
Chop,
he
chop,
come in here?
people.
Will he be here?
Let's
Let's bring
we
him
should
in
think
for the
of we
last
should think
3
of a
seconds.
conversation that's a lot more wholesome before he gets here.
When he comes in, we should talk
And-
about.
and-
We
User
should
in your
talk.
channel is
And
recording.
when you crest the event horizon of a black hole, it's like no one knows what happens at that moment. No one has any idea.
I'm really glad we had this conversation in
Just
science.
Blew my mind with that. You're really smart, Jesse.
Wow.
I'll try.
Thanks for
Hey,
talking
Dan.
about that.
I finally make it back, and Jesse's smart. What happened?
It's been the science
We-
podcast.
We had
Yeah,
a great
Oh,
intellectual
no.
conversation.
We've just been talking about theoretical physics the whole time.
It's
Oh,
true.
no.
We actually just talked about different branches of science and social science. It was really interesting.
I now understand how
Well-
string theory works.
I guess we can end it there, right?
You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
The
that's
more-
incredible.
the more you know, Pat.
Thank you, Jesse. You've illuminated my entire world.
Dan, would you like to sign us off?
Is that where we were ending?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're,
Trust us. Trust
we're
us.
at about,
You'll
end
understand
time.
why.
Well, all right then. So obviously there's no final thoughts.
Universe is a big place.
With
The
what
universe-
we talked about, we can't stop cancer.
Well, let's go through one at a time. Pat, what are your final thoughts?
I feel like no matter how much you experience in this world, you will always experience new and mysterious and potentially scary things.
Great
Amber?
topic.
Why don't you go before me, Jesse?
Well, I just hope that someday we can fully unravel the mysteries of black holes and finally get to the bottom of the Big Bang.
I think it's always important to consider the silver lining.
I think that's that's prolific. I love that.
Thank you.
Schwa?
I think I'm gonna end it with, with all those people who are trying to fight the good fight. You can do it. With what we showed you, with what we provided you, the media we have linked to you, you can do it.
It gets better.
And
It
Dan.
gets better.
Wow. Well, it sounds like I missed a doozy of a podcast. I'll enjoy listening for the first time when I edit it. But,
You will.
Yes, you will.
I have a feeling I'm going to be handing out pink slips all around.
Oh, no.
Bye, Jesse. Bye,
Not that
Sheila.
bad? No?
Good night, everybody.
Oh,
All
this
right,
is
well,
the bad guy.
Thanks everybody for listening, and I guarantee we made you ask. I did ask for it.
Oh,
See you next time.
trust us, this
Why
episode.
did end?
I'm so